writing, everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Sorry about my hair. I just took my hat off. I couldn't deal. I stole the line. Hopefully the weather's good where you are. It's pouring rain this morning and very dreary, but it'll be good sleeping weather for me. Alright, anyway, this is a release writing session. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be covering eulogies, goodbye letters. They're the same thing. Goodbye letters. It's like a death letter or a release of feelings. Poems and songs, stories and short stories. And then I'm going to timestamp when I do the questions. And then each individual question I will timestamp and describe it for you. But I'm going to put the written writing assignments in the description box below, right under the timestamp. So if you don't understand what the writing is saying or what I'm asking for, you can just go right to the part where I explain it without watching the whole thing. So description box below. If you are interested in the 14-day writing challenge, these are short like journal entries or something you can do on a scrap piece of paper. The goal is to help you figure stuff out. I'm asking you questions to look at your own life. No one's going to see this but you. It's a personal challenge. I'm doing it myself as well. I will be posting mine. I'm not sure how I'm going to be posting it, but they will be in the community post. I don't know if it'll be through my blog spot or if I'm just gonna write it right in the community post that day. Again, 15 minutes or less projects. Sorry, my throat's very scratchy. Let me get some tea and see if I can get my shit together because I don't want to be scratchy through this whole thing. Let's get into it. What is release writing? Release writing is writing without grammar, without worrying about pronunciation, any format. This is not an essay. This is not something you're handing in to anyone. The whole point is just to get the feelings out. So if you just write and spews and it makes no fucking sense, it doesn't matter. This is release writing. You can write the same thing over and over and over and over and over on front and back of the paper, if that helps you release. There is no right or wrong about release writing, and there is no rules. This isn't school. Okay, if you want to write it like an essay, you go right ahead, because that's how you release, that's how you vent. But this is what release writing is. However, I am talking about things that have to be specific in order, like eulogies. And the only reason why I'm talking about this is because a lot of people, your goodbye to somebody is your eulogy. I've had to do a eulogy for everyone except for my Uncle Greg. And this, as much as is a responsibility as it is, you really regret if you don't put your heart into it. So I want to cover this in healing. I call them death letters. I highly recommend it when you lose somebody. Usually you have a couple days, like you have a wake and a funeral. I like to sit on the night of the wake, between the wake and the funeral, and just write the last things I want to say to that person, and I bury it with them. And it's my own. It's not like you forget about them. It's not like the grief goes away. But a lot of times I didn't get to say goodbye, or I didn't make it in time to say goodbye. And that's just a way of you and that person having a moment. And it's very good for your healing. And if you can't put it in the coffin, you can go and leave it at the gravesite, and you don't have to put a name on it. So if anyone does read it, they don't know who the hell it's from. You know what I mean? Whatever you need to do, you can even just write it and burn it outside. Write it, get a helium balloon, tie it to a balloon and send it up. Whichever way you need to do it. A release letter is what you need to say to make peace with yourself and that person. Your way of saying goodbye. And sometimes you can't do that at the funeral, and that's okay. Sometimes I've done the death letter a couple months after before. So it's all in your own time. And I'm not going to touch too much on that because there's, like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do that. You just got to say what you feel. And the only one that's going to see it is you and the spirit you're writing it to. I believe in my own personal beliefs. Oh my God, am I going to have a voice today? All right, so let's talk about... Here we go. Let's talk about eulogies. So I have quite a bit of an experience. I've made a lot of mistakes writing something too emotional or too in-depth. I would cry through it. Not that anyone really makes it through a eulogy without a tear, and it's totally okay. But I mean, like, sob, almost couldn't finish because I just set myself up talking about things that I just couldn't deal with on the day of the funeral. Keep in mind, when you write this is a very hard day for you. So you don't want to go into anything too much for your sake. So I avoid anything really personal to me that would make me cry. I focus more on telling the story of the person's life. I still cry a little bit, but I can get through it because it's not a one-on-one personal thing. That's something you put in the death letter. Or you can, if you can talk about stuff if you can make it through it without crying. I can't. Most people can't. You get swept up in the emotions and everything going on in that day. I stick to a few rules to tell a story that will make you and others laugh and think of your person at their peak, or when they were healthy, if they were sick, or a really good day that a lot of people would remember if you have something like that. And if it's not what everybody would remember, at least their immediate, close-knit family, making them smile and making them laugh is goal for the day. You just overall want to tell something that reminds people of their vibrant life, their happiest moment, something silly they did. Laughter is really the best medicine, and eulogies are everybody's way to bond together in a goodbye. You're kind of like a shaman. When you give a eulogy, it's the community's goodbye to a person. Everybody's sitting there listening to it. It is a lot of pressure, but don't put pressure on yourself. If it's short, it's short. If it's long, it's long. This is you and what you have to say. But there are, like I said, don't get too into it and make yourself cry so you can't finish it, because you're going to regret that down the road. Put in something they were known for, quirks, sports achievements, something they helped with, or if they were like a humanitarian. Always try to boost up the good as an honor to them. You want to paint them in the best light, as if you're a journalist and they have like a 15-minute special on TV. You only want to say all the good stuff. You can say bad stuff if it was a part of their life, like if they were a recovering addict and you knew them when they were an addict, and talking about them being an addict their whole life was something they did to like help the community, then of course talk about that, because that would be honoring something they did of service to them. You just want to make them in the best light as you can. If you can write your favorite quote or song lyrics that says what you feel or what you would like to say if you don't know how to say something. I've been to funerals where people just read the entire song lyrics, and that was their goodbye to someone because that was what they felt they needed to say, and it completely works. You can sing it too. Talk about what you will miss about that person a little bit, not too much towards the end, but mostly about what you learned from them or what you took overall from their life, from knowing them. What was the benefit? What can't you get in anyone else that you could get in this person? That's a really nice way to honor them and wrap it up. So I don't want to give you too much direction on eulogy because it has to be your own way. But let's talk about poems and songs. First off, everybody thinks you have to rhyme. You don't have to rhyme. Really, rapping is like the only time where they are like consistent with rhyming. But you don't have to. It's like not like somebody put that rule out there, but there isn't an actual rule. Okay, there's no rules to music or poetry or any kind of writing. That's the beauty of it. You have freedom, so write what comes out to you. But if you are having trouble rhyming, you can Google words. Siri, words that rhyme with or look in the dictionary like us old school people used to do. That helps you learn a bigger vocabulary and helps you find words that might make your shit even better. And you could teach your audience vocabulary at the same time. Oh my god. Somebody doesn't want this out. My throat chakra's going crazy. Alright, so when I write songs or poems, I just write like first draft, like I'm writing a story. Write it all out, and then I go back and read it, cross stuff out, refix it, and then I put it back in order. I always, no matter what, just spew it out on a piece of paper, whatever I feel like writing, and then I read it, and every time I read it, I'm always fixing stuff, so it's just natural. I do a first draft, or a rough draft, second draft, but that's just ingrained as a writer. Sometimes I write poems the first time out and then I don't fix it at all. It really depends on how you feel. Like I said, don't focus too much on the technical unless you're doing like sonnets. But I've read poems that are 4 or 5 sentences long, and I've read poems that are 3 pages. There's no rules, okay? Just write what you feel. Same with stories, to keep this short. Just spew it out. Spew it out. Spew it out. Go back. Read it. Fix what you want. Take out what you want. Add what you want. It's like a cake. You gotta layer it. Sometimes I do a first draft, and I go through the second draft, fixing. I have all these scribbles, and then I gotta rewrite it, which is the third draft, because it has all my corrections, and sometimes I still correct as I type it. My third draft is always typed. Sometimes my first draft too. But you know what I mean? It's like I have all these checks and balances within myself to make sure I'm evaluating my work the way I see fit. You have to do it the way you see fit. You can't. You know, there's all these great poets that I grew up reading, all these great writers, and you start by writing like them, but I think that's a mistake. You gotta find your own voice as a writer. You gotta have your own say. You gotta have your own way in which you tell a story, but you can learn the basics of writing through other writers. Like, if you're a sci-fi writer, you might read Stephen King and set up your stories like him. That teaches you how to do it, but you can't write every book like Stephen King. You gotta have your own flair. That's what makes you that's what makes you, but this is vent writing. So, but I just threw stories and poems in here because I know that I write poems and songs to release feelings, so I was mostly talking about poems and songs. It's the best way to get over breakups, loss, anger, frustration. If you're just being goofy, sexual desires, like, write it out. Poems and songs are the best therapy. I don't care what anyone says, but there are times that I will write a short story and make my situation worse or better to make myself feel better. That's also a release. I know it's not real and you're not really changing it, but you're taking your mind off of it. You're taking lemons and you're making lemonade into a story. You know what I mean? Alright, so this is the end of our chat. I did keep it under 15 minutes. Release writing, no rules, do your thing. It's very important to healing. Journaling every day helps you, if you have depression or grief, track your progress and keep order of returning thoughts and things that you need to work on. I highly recommend everybody journal at least 3 times a week in some notebook or a journal by your bed every day. It's just good well-being for everyone. So let's get into the questions. I'm going to timestamp at 15 minutes. All right, so these are going to be 14 days. You do one a day. You can switch around the order. There's no rules. I'm just giving you 14 topics. Each topic, I'm going to explain what the point of it is. Because I feel like if you know what the point of it is a little bit, it doesn't seem like a nutball thing to be asking. That's why I'm writing and explaining it. So we're going to get into question 1. We'll put 1532. All right, so question 1. What have your thoughts been like in the past 4 weeks or month? What are reoccurring thoughts? Are you positive or negative when thinking about yourself and your life? Let me fix my grammar. How has the 4 weeks gone for you? Has it been good, bad? And the reason why you're digging into this, now you can just answer the questions. You don't have to do a full essay, but I like you to dig in a little bit here. Like, what thoughts when I say that? I mean, what are you thinking about overall? Are you thinking about money? Are you thinking about your kids? Are you thinking about all that needs to get done? Are you thinking about vacation? Are you thinking that something is missing? Are you thinking you're angry all the time? Are you thinking you need more help? Like, what is the majority of your thought time? And that includes daydreaming and just mind wandering. Maybe you're focused on an art project. There's no right or wrong here. It's just take a minute over the last month. What has been front and center in the mind space? And just seeing that on a piece of paper will make you see things a little bit different. Like, oh, majority of all of this is about work. So maybe I need some changes in my life about work. Or all of my things seem to be about my kids. I'm not really making time for myself. Maybe I should make time for myself. I just want you to see, one, what you're spending majority of your time on, and are you positive or are you negative? Because that is important. Your life and how you manifest is created by positive thinking. So if you're trying to change your life and you're trying to manifest and you sit there and you think, oh my God, I have been negative all month. No wonder why my manifestations hasn't come in yet, because I keep going back to negative thinking. Like, these questions are just here to point out, hey, this is what we're doing with our time and our brains. Maybe we should do something different, or maybe this means something. This is like self-therapy. Again, no one's going to see it. All right, so question 2 would be 1808. All right, what is something you really wish you could do more of? Why don't you do it now? Or why don't you do it anymore if you did? Discover your innermost or your inner wants and assess how you can implement it realistically in your life. Like, for example, what is something you really wish to do more of? I want to read more. I want to spend more time outside. I want to take walks after dinner. I want to get my chores done in the beginning of the day so I can have the day to, like, whatever it is. It can be giant, it can be small. It's like, just what do you want to do as far as hobby, as interest outside of work? It could be stuff that you want to do with your kids. It could be stuff you want to do with your husband. It just can't be about work, and it can't be about school. This is things for you, or you with bonding with your family. What are things that you really want to check off your list and you just haven't? You keep putting it down the list, or it just never seems to come up. Why? Why are you sliding it down the list? Or why aren't you trying it? Are you afraid to try something new? Why are you afraid to try it? Are you allowing other things in your life to not come in because you're scared of it? What would happen if you did it anyway? This is a little bit of seeing how you face your fears, seeing how you implement Or how willing are you to implement change in your life? Are you ready for change? Are you open for it? This kind of question really helps you evaluate that and helps you make wants that you've had on your list for a while start coming into reality. I don't know why I'm waving my pen, sorry. But it's like we get so caught up on life and we lose track of the things we want. And sometimes we think that if we just take time for ourselves and the things that we want, it's selfish. And that is not true. The best thing you can do for yourself is to make time for yourself. I don't care if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, if you're a career person, or if you don't have a job. It does not matter. You need to make time for yourself and your hobbies and your interests. So I'm asking you to open up that box and talk about it to yourself. Open that conversation. So question 3, we're going to put 2053. How do you feel at home when you're alone compared to other times in the past? Now, same question. How do you feel at home with the people you live with? So when you're home alone, are you happy to be by yourself? Does it feel heavy to be by yourself? Does the house feel weird? Maybe you need a house blessing. Maybe you don't like being alone. Or maybe you need more alone time if you're loving it when you are. And again, assessing your relationships with the people in your house can show you where there's room for change. There's room for a discussion to talk about something that's bothering you. And this can help you assess who maybe needs to go and who needs to stay if you have like a roommate situation. What is good or bad about your cohabitating right now? Or if you live alone, what is good and bad about living alone right now? And this is to help discover if there are issues to fix with your home or with the environment, as in blessings, spiritual baths, shaman, house blessing, or how to make peace with people if there is tension. Because living with tension, nobody should have to deal with that. And sometimes we don't want to deal with confrontation and we just brush things under the rug. And this is a really positive way to look at what's bothering you without lashing out at that person, and kind of organize your thoughts so that when you do go talk to someone, if you do have an issue, you are cool, calm, and collected and be like, hey, I don't want to fight about this, but I just feel like I need to say some things, or this needs to change. And that really does help a lot when you've thought about it ahead of time, what you want to say, what the real things are. It's like pick your battles, you know what I mean? What do you feel like battling over? What's going good? What do you wish you could change? Good, bad. Talk about home and everyone you live with. Oh my god. Sorry, I just worked a 10-hour shift, so I'm like, whoa. Question 4, 2325. All right. What is your relationship like right now? As in somebody you're dating. And if you're single, this is a relationship to yourself. Is it good or bad, happy or sad? And this is to help see if this is a healthy relationship, or if you have a healthy relationship with yourself. Are you happy in this relationship? Do they fulfill your needs? Do you have things in common? Do you feel like you're both on the same page? Do you feel like you both want the same things? And if this is about yourself, are you encouraging yourself? Are you trying? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you content with just being alone right now? Ask yourself the tough questions here. And whether you have an issue or not, this is like a checkup for your relationships. It helps you, again, pick your battles. Sometimes I write stuff out and I'm just reading it. I'm like, I'm not even really mad about that. Why is it such a problem? And then you might realize that, maybe you're just feeling out of control about something. It's weird how we see things when we write it down and we sit and we think about it in a calm way instead of thinking about it in a stressful way or a heavy heart or an angry way. So question number 5, 2456. How are your days at work lately? Are they stressed? Are they good? What do you wish you could stop or change about your job? What do you like about your job or dislike about your job? This is to help see if you're in the right place, if you need a change in the career, if you feel like your job values you, if maybe it's time to ask for a promotion, maybe it's time to get a different job, or remind yourself why you love it and fall back in love with your job again. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but this is like a health checkup for your job. Number 6. Do you think your relationship with money is healthy or unhealthy? How can you change your relationship with money? Are you always money oriented or stressed about money? Why do you think that is? What can you do to fix it right now? So basically, this is about manifesting. I had to deal with this too. Like, I think it comes a lot from growing up poor and what we're taught about poor and everything. I don't know how the rich people grew up, but like everything you hear is poor, rich, poor, rich, poor, rich, poor, rich, poor, rich, poor deserve this, rich get this, poor deserve this, and it like really messes with your mentality about money. And a lot of my manifestations have been blocked because my relationship to money, not feeling like I'm deserving of it, or making excuses why I didn't work hard enough for something. There is no working hard enough for something. That is the lie that our society puts in our brain. You can just manifest money. You deserve money just falling at your feet. It's the society that tells you that you didn't earn that money, so you can't pick it up. It's wrong for you to pick it up. The universe dropped that money at your feet, not the person's feet next to you, not the person across the street. They dropped it at your feet. So you pick it up because you deserve it. Everybody on that street deserved it and deserves it, but it landed in front of you. Don't hesitate. Pick it up. It's the world that teaches you to hesitate. So we need to change our relationship with money. So this is helping you see that society beat onto you how you should feel about money, that you have to work extremely hard for your money. No, you don't. I mean, granted, hard work does make you money and you should love what you do, but you don't have to work hard to make money. People sit and just blink and make money. You know, they create something and they make a cent every 10 minutes or something. I don't know. You know, it is possible to just sit here and make money. It's society that makes you feel shit about yourself for enjoying just sitting there and letting money come to you. It blocks your manifestation. So see how you feel about money, what your language about money is, how your life is going. If you're just... The part of manifesting is just believing that money is going to be there, like a child. And then all of our thoughts like, well, our bills need to be paid. We need money coming in We forgot to just trust the universe. It'll come to you when you need it. Do you have to go to work every day? Yes, of course. You know, you got to put effort, but you don't got to bust your ass. Unfortunately, most of us do. But it's because we're still stuck in a matrix we don't really belong in. This is going to help you try to get a little bit further out of the wrong kind of matrix and into the matrix of your choosing. So, question 7, 29, 19. Do you need help emotionally or around the house or with a task? Do you ask for help? How do you feel about reactions of those people you asked, good or bad? If you asked someone for help and they helped you, how did you feel? If you asked someone for help and they didn't help you, how did you feel? Why don't you ask for help if you don't? Or why are you comfortable asking for help if you do? Why do you fear asking for help? Or what do you expect to happen if you do ask for help? This is for a lot of people are embarrassed to ask for help because of, again, society standards and what's put on us. And talking to yourself and really figuring out what you need help with and why you're not asking helps you get over that fear hurdle. Helps you get out of bad thought patterns. Everybody needs help. Everybody should be able to ask for help. Everybody should have someone in their life that they could just go to and ask for help. Whether that be like a boss or whatever. Like, ask and you shall receive. You don't receive if you never ask. I spent half of my life never asking for anything. And then most of the rest of it, until recently, thinking I could only ask for so much. No. Like, don't use people. Don't be a grimy son of a bitch. But when you need help, you ask for help. I don't care if you need to ask for help from 20 different people in one day. Don't be afraid. This is going to help you assess whether you have a healthy relationship with relying on other people. If you're too overly self-reliant, it's bad. We're not meant to do everything ourselves. Okay? Is it the apocalypse? Is everybody dead? No. You have a community. You have people to lean on. The only time humans aren't supposed to have support is if they're in an unfortunate situation and they're the only human there. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so 3147. Number 8. How do you feel about your body? What do you really see in the mirror? Is anything bothering you? Or if it isn't bothering you, why are you so confident? Why do you think it became a bother if you do have a bother? What would you like to happen with your body if there's something that you want to change? If there's nothing you want to change, how did you get to the point of loving yourself this way? This helps you see your relationship to yourself, your self-love. How you see and treat yourself is how everyone else is going to see and treat you. So realizing that maybe you're not being good to yourself, or maybe there's things that you want to work on that will make you feel more confident, gives you a plan. It takes away that doubt in there. It takes away that depression and anxiety eating at you. This, again, isn't to make yourself feel bad. This is not to bully yourself. This is to see what the real issues are. I don't like my butt. I don't like my chin. I don't like my arm fat. I don't like my boobs. Whatever it is. What is specifically bothering you? If you find out something specific, perhaps you can find something specific to change it. Just sitting with yourself. And if you don't have any issues with your body, that's awesome. Good for you. Show yourself how you got there and your progress. And tell yourself how much you love yourself, because that's only raising your vibrations. So, question number 9, 3325. Right. Do you feel valued, heard, and appreciated by the people in your life? These are people that matter. What can you say or do to change it in a way that will benefit your relationship but not damage it if you feel you aren't being these things or receiving those things? Do you think they are good or bad people to have in your life? So this is helping you. You know, a lot of times our own family members are karmics, or friends are karmics, or situations are karmic. We repeat patterns. We get caught up in shit that probably doesn't even matter, and it gets us off kilter. So just sitting here and thinking about how people treat you, how you feel when they treat you that way, it's going to help you set a boundary with yourself. Like, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. And a boundary with the other person that's pushing you. But it's also going to show you the people who are so good to you that you should say thank you to, that you should show some appreciation, and that's your way of reminding them how special they are in your life, and that's always good to do. So it's a win-win all the way around. Alright, question number 10, 3448. What is your dream life? Like, picture your dream life. What do you do for work? Where do you live? Where do you hang out, and who do you hang out with? Who are you with as far as relationship? How do you feel? What would you have to do to actually obtain that, to make it a reality? And why do you think this is a fantasy if it isn't obtainable? Why do you fantasize about it? What is it in this life that you think you're missing? Is basically what this question is about. Sitting with our childhood imaginations is always good for raising vibrations, and dreaming helps us see our desires. So this is definitely helping you see your desires and maybe decide if this is it. Like, I'm just going to go and do it. This is the year I'm going to stop putting it on the back burner and just frickin' go for it. Alright, so 55. Question number 11. When you think about your parents in your childhood, is there anything as an adult that still hurts your heart when you think about it as an adult? Why do you think this hurts you so much? If you could go back to that moment as your adult self, what would you say, or what would you change? And do you think you could ever voice yourself to that person? And if you can't physically do it, write a letter. You can either give it to them or you can just write it to yourself. But this is about really seeing what childhood wounds you've been carrying all this time that really need to be addressed, because if something comes up at the top of your head, it's been nagging you for some time, or it's just prevalent, and releasing it and healing it and transmuting it is only going to benefit your life and clear out some room in your suitcase for some good shit. So asking yourself the tough questions is never fun. I hate doing it myself. Again, remember, I'm going to be answering all these questions publicly for everybody. At least you don't have to do that. Alright, so question 12, 3725. Is there something or someone you want to go back to that's been nagging you? Why? What pulls you to it or that person? Again, ask yourself why. Do you want to fix that relationship or that thing in your life? And if you could, how would you go about doing it? Is it even worth fixing it? This helps us see things that, we don't want regret. We don't want things adding up in our life that we're like, oh, I'll get to it when I can. Or, oh, I've been meaning to call that person and fix it. But then, something happens and they pass away. This is really seeing what's on your plate. Who matters? Who do you want in your life still? And who are you okay that they're out? Or who are you okay just not hanging out with anymore? Or why is this thing bothering you so much? Why is this person bothering you so much that you can't get it off your mind? These are only going to be triggering you to see what needs to be shed and healed and transmuted so that you can have a happy, freer, and more vibrant life. So question number 13, 38, 42. What is a goal you have had for a while, but you keep putting it off or making excuses? Why do you put it off? Why can't you forget about this goal? How would you actually do it? Do you actually want to? This is like, I want to go to Europe. I want to go on a diet. I want to quit smoking. I want to get a pet. I want to get married. These are big things, okay? These are the big whoppers of goals that you have wanted the majority of your life. You just don't seem to do anything about it. How come? Talk to yourself. Is this going to be your year? Are you going to make a plan? And if you're not, are you okay just deading it and not thinking about it and carrying it on for another such and such years? It's time to figure out if this is staying or going. We're clearing out our suitcases, people. And the last question, 3947. I'm turning 39 too. That's funny. Write a bucket list for the next 12 months of your life. That's just 1 year, people. Just for the next year. What do you want to accomplish? This has to be realistic because I want you to actually complete this list. But I don't want you to just put safe things on there like clean my car, take the kids to summer camp. You know what I mean? Like, I want things that you're going to challenge yourself and things that maybe you have to save up for, because everything you cross off this list in the next year is going to be a personal achievement to yourself. And every time you cross it off, your confidence is going to raise. Your vibration is going to raise. Your belief in yourself is going to raise. So I don't want you to set yourself up for failure here. Don't make things astronomically complicated. So if you want to lose weight, I would like to lose 10 pounds this year. That is achievable in 365 days. You'll cross that off, and if you lost more than 10 pounds, you're going to be like, oh, I got more. I did more than I said. Like, you're never going to be like, oh, I did more than I said. But you are going to be like, oh, I didn't make it. Don't set yourself up for failure. Be realistic to your schedule, to your life. You only got a couple hours a day if you're a parent, you know. Look at your life. Be realistic. What do you really want to get done this year? And it could be silly stuff like, I finally want to clean out the fucking garage. I've been meaning to do it for the last 4 years. It's a shit show out there. This is going to be the year, and we're going to have a garage sale, and with the money, we're going to go on vacation. Something. Like, do it. I'm going to be doing this as well. What a great way to ring in my new age with a game plan. I'm a Virgo. I like game plans. Mine's even going to be color-coded, probably. Vision board. No. I'm doing it in the community post for you. If you want to check in with me, again, I don't know if it's going to be linked to my blog spot or if I'm just going to type it up in the community post, but every day starting tomorrow. Actually, starting today, I have to do one because it's day 1. It'll be in the community post very shortly. I hope that you guys participate because this is only going to benefit you. And again, you can just answer the questions. You don't have to go into full scale, what have you. If you're not writers, keep it simple. You don't even have to write it. You can talk to yourself. If you just aren't into writing, like, you can just jot down notes. Works for me. There's no wrong way to release right. I love you all. I will see you all tomorrow. We have the self-love organized tarot reading. It's going to be angel and spirit guided. How are we going to love ourselves better? What collectively do we need to work on to be high vibrational beings walking this earth, manifesting whatever the F we want? So that's tomorrow. Again, check the community post in a little bit. I'm going to do question 1 there, and I'll see you tomorrow. Toodaloo, boo boos, boy.